Thought I'd do another video on how to put this seat back on. The other one was taking it off and showing the radio. This is how to put it on. Honda didn't exactly make it easy. They changed the entire way this seat mounts. Now the good news is that down here the bolts where it actually bolts in, you've got a nut welded to the back side. And so that's a steel bolt, unlike the previous model where it went into the aluminum frame. So that is good news. Now the way this thing mounts, back here in this section right here, you've got this little connector, or this little standoff pretty much, that slides in this slot here. You got the rubber bushing and it sits on the frame rail. Now what I did to make this a little bit easier is I put some like WD-40, just some lightweight oil on the base of the bush. Actually I didn't use oil, I used a silicone so it doesn't degrade it, but putting that there and putting it on the frame so it slides back, because this has to go in front of that post and then slide in the back. Now the way it's held down in the front is you have it's this piece here, this angled piece here, it goes in that hole. And so you got to do a couple things at once. You've got to be able to get it down, slide it back, while at the same time getting this piece down in the hole and then just kind of sliding it back down all at once. So let's go ahead and try this. Okay, so what I did is I just set the seat down and I set it down to where it pretty much lines right up. Yeah. And then it just sits right down. These two little bushings up here, you don't have to worry about those. That's pretty much the last thing you'll do, because once everything lines up, they'll be right in place. Now the kicker on this thing, let me get my flashlight, is lining up these holes. As you can see, get the light in there. You think it's not fun to see either with the in real life. Yeah, there's your hole. You got to get that lined up with a bolt. Now the seat has to go back, and you need to make sure that everything lines up properly before you even attempt to put the bolts in there. So the way to get this thing to line up is just to know that this is vinyl, plastic and foam, and it's not going to break. So take your hand and just start wiggling this thing back until it actually lines up. It goes back there, and you can see here, I'm closer, but I'm not quite there yet. So yeah, when I push down, then it lines up. I can tell you this is a lot easier than the very first time I did this. The first time it was with the bushings dry. It took a lot of beating to get this thing back and make sure that it goes back. So oiling that definitely made a big improvement. Okay, so I got my helper here to do this because it takes 4 hands. Right there, on that, there you go, perfect. Okay, so on here, what you really need to do is not have anything for chance, because if the screw falls in here, you pretty much have to take the seat off to get it, and I know it's just a matter of time. So it lines up pretty good. You can use your hand to kind of push on the seat and move it around a little bit. But the thing is, make sure that it's perfectly in line. Put it on a T-handle and just stab it. There we go. And it started. And that's all there is to it.